New videos every day.
Feet are another thing that people experience having a lot of discomfort with. There sure is a lot of different kinds of feet. I tell you, feet are all sorts of shapes and sizes and different directions the toes point and different lengths. It's an interesting appendage. And it's an important appendage because it gets us around. Feet are a pretty important thing, and yet they're neglected quite a bit. In a good foot, you want to have an arch of the foot. The arch will be here, of course, and then there's another arch that comes in this direction. So the foot should be very flexible. The bones of the feet are designed to walk on uneven surfaces, to be able to, walk on stones across a river or different types of maybe lawns that have uneven, the land underneath it isn't smooth like pavement. The feet should be able to be worked in a way where the toes are stretched. The toes can come out and be stretched and opened, and a lot of energy can run well through the feet. And when we put it into a tight shoe and we walk around a lot on a tight shoe, the feet become very fixed. The bones don't have a lot of flexibility in it, and that's where the feet problems begin to surface. I personally think that it's good to be barefooted, to go barefooted, and I myself am just like a barefoot freak. I would go barefoot everywhere if I could get away with it. I work barefooted. Of course, in the wintertime, my feet get cold, so I put socks on, but I really am barefooted, and as a result, my feet are very strong. They're very aligned. I don't have foot pain as a general rule. Sometimes I'll do something, but for the most part, they work real well for me. The toes have several joints in it. There's the joint on the end, there's another joint down, and there's all these little movement patterns that come down into the bulk of the foot part. Very long. They're long bones, but they're small, but they're long bones. And then you have the ankle, which is a lot of little bones in the ankle and the foot tying together, and all of them play to be able to walk on uneven surfaces so that the foot can constantly be moving and balancing in that direction. One of the things you want to always remember about the foot and knee relationship is when you bend your knee in any kind of position, you want to make sure that that foot lines up, the big toe lines up right in line with the knee. If the foot is outside of that knee line, you're going to take the knee out eventually. This is a hinge joint, and it should line up down over the big toe. And if that's the case, you'll have the play in the foot and the play in the hip to keep balance if you're on uneven surfaces, you're climbing rocks or something like that. That's an important thing to note. Basically, a foot massage can just be done all over the muscles and getting deep into the joints and doing range of motion on the joints, getting into the ankle and making sure that there's a range of motion going on there. The heel is another one to align. Oftentimes you can hold the heel and give it a little bit of a traction, and you can feel it moving into different positions because there's also mobility there. So the foot is another really important piece of the body that should be maintained well. It's a good idea to maybe take shoes off for a little bit if you can and walk around barefoot, and it's especially good to take your shoes off and maybe walk outside in the grass or the dirt. There's a kind of connecting with the energy of the earth. Some of that might be a little woo-woo for some of you, but that is really where our feet should be, is on the earth, not on pavement. There's another little bone that's called the cuboid bone, which is, there's a ridge if you feel along the lateral edge there, you'll feel kind of a place and then a little kind of a bump where the end of the tarsal bone, one of the tarsal bones is, and it's a cuboid bone. and it is a square like a cube, and that bone is really the bone that I've discovered is one of the more important bones to make sure is in the proper alignment. When this bone is out of alignment, there can be a lot of foot pain and there can be knee pain. But once that bone gets back in its position, it's quite amazing how everything else just aligns, and it goes out even a small amount. It'll affect the flexibility of the foot. So that's a little bit about feet, and I'll mention something about oil. Oil is, you want a good viscosity of oil. Mineral oil is not a good oil to use because it'll clog the pores. But any kind of oil that's a good pure vegetable oil will be good. You don't want the polyunsaturated stuff. You don't want to use canola oil. Cheap oils, you don't. Olive oil is a good one. Some flax, almond oil. You can play with them and you can mix them in different parts, like maybe 1 part olive oil and a half a part something else, and see if the viscosity, how that feels. You want a nice slip for viscosity, and you want it where you don't need a whole lot of oil where you're just lathered down. You just want to have a little thin layer on with a nice slip to it so you don't get the friction of the skin. Sometimes if you mix oils and you don't have something to keep it from going rancid, there might be a problem there. So be careful that you don't use rancid oil. And I always look for organic oils. I just am an organic type person. I just prefer organic. So that's what I do for my choice of oils. Now sometimes if the feet are real dry, some people have real dry callousy feet, I have a lotion that has a little bit of mineral oil in with a bunch of other oils, and I will use that on the feet. The one thing I notice about the mineral oil though is that it stays more like on the body. It doesn't absorb quite the same way that other oils do. They have a little bit of an absorption that they do. And then I'll mention something about essential oils. You're going to probably be hearing more and more about essential oils, and yes, it is a method for healing and taking care of things, but do be aware that essential oils, if you're using them and you're on medications, there could be contraindications with that. Some essential oils, if you go in the sun, you're going to have problems with, and some essential oils can burn your skin if you're not careful. So just take time to learn a little bit about the essential oils before you use them, because everything, even if it's for the better, for the help of the body, if done inappropriately, could cause a little bit of stress that's not necessary for the body to have to deal with. And of course, if there's any chemical medications going on, then you need to be much more cautious about what you're doing naturally, because sometimes there can be reactions with that particular setting, the chemical medication and some of the natural remedies. So just be mindful there. Do your research, do your work, ask questions, and begin to empower yourself. Thank you so much. This is Athena Jezik.
Please subscribe to our channel, and you should also visit our new website. Because we have over 1,300 videos on our channel, I know it can be a little difficult to navigate and find the videos that you want to see. But if you visit us at psychetruth.net, you'll be able to find the videos you want to see and watch them there. So we encourage you to go to Psyche Truth next time you want to search for something, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.